Hi guys, let's talk about picking design and technology, or also called product design, as one of your options at A level, and what the jump is like from GCSE. I did DT at GCSE and I sat my exams in 2022, and then for A level I sat my exams in 2024, so quite recently. Around this time of year 11s will be selecting their A level choices, so let's get into it. So DT is actually very similar at both levels. The A level is 50% coursework and 50% theory, just like it is at GCSE. AQA at A level has two theory papers, one being 30% and the other being 20%, but at Excel, the example I did has just one. If I start with the coursework element, at A level you get full control or full choice over what you make, versus having the contextual challenges at GCSE. I personally found it difficult at the start to decide what sort of product I wanted to make, or what problem I wanted to solve. But it's really up to you, obviously, to pick something you're passionate about, and then you're going to base your NEA for about 1 year or sort of 2 years on that. You'll start your NEA about halfway through into year 12, so it's about 1.5 years you spend on the NEA. You'll end up having lots more pages in your A-level portfolio that you did at GCSE because you'll spend loads more time on it, and you'll go more in depth in certain sections, like for example evaluation. I've got videos on this channel where I go through bits of the A-level NEA and I show you bits of my own portfolio that you can find on this channel. I might make a dedicated video on my full NEA project at some point in the future as well. The coursework does require a lot of time outside of class, but that sort of goes for all of your subjects. You always have to revise and put time outside of class. In your A levels, a lot of them also have coursework elements, but especially if you're staying at the same sort of school as you are for sixth form, as you did for GCSE, you will find DT super similar if you've got the same teacher, because the coursework is just super similar. In terms of if you need to do GCSE DT to do A level DT, officially you don't need to do that, but it does depend on your school. Some have certain entry requirements. I would say as long as you're good at maths and you're good at problem solving and you like physics, you should be more than capable enough to do A level DT without GCSE. But DT is definitely one of those subjects that you do because you really want to do it versus doing it just for the sake of it. Some of you might have done GCSE art and then want to do A-level DT with that, and I think that's totally possible, but I'm not the best person to ask because I don't have any experience with art. With the theory side, I do think it's quite a big step up from GCSE. I would go as far as to say some of the theory you learn at A-level is unnecessarily detailed. There's a big focus on processes, which is okay, but then you've got topics like legislation and businessy topics, which I personally just wasn't a massive fan of. You can have a look on my website, methodosdt.com/theory, and I've got various like topic mind maps on there for A level, and you'll hopefully see what I mean. Some of the theory paper is made up of maths questions, which is always sort of GCSE higher tier level. So you definitely don't need to do A level maths to do A level DT, but it can be helpful, and I think they make for a good combination. If you're thinking about going to university and continuing to study design, there's lots of degrees open to you. I'm doing a product design degree in London, for example, and the vast majority of my cohort did maths, physics, and DT at A level, and there's quite a common combination. Those are the subjects I did along with Spanish as well at A level. Have a look at the website newdesigners.com, and they run a graduate show every single year with loads of sort of universities, and you can look at all the universities that offer courses in design. If you have any questions, please drop me a comment or shoot me an email. My email is always open. Okay, good luck.